This life is treacherous. I think something that Taylor Swift has actually gotten better at is I think she's really embraced her awkwardness and realized that's what makes her her, and that's actually what makes her special. Is like a lot of celebrities do have swagger and like are like cool, and Taylor Swift is not cool. She does not have swagger, okay? That is the opposite of really who she is. And I think like the Opalite music video really demonstrates that. Like after having a look what you made me do blank space type of videos where like she's trying to pretend to be this caricature of like the worst things that people call her, that isn't her. Like Opalite, her like saying I'm weird and I'm awkward and I'm not cool, and I actually love that about myself, and like I don't care if anyone else likes it because this is who I am and I'm just gonna embrace it. That is exemplified in the Opalite music video, and I think that's beautiful, and that actually gives me a hope for Travis Kelce and hers. I'm kind of like, if that's where she's at, if that's where she's self-actualized, then actually maybe it's all going to be okay. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, that is where she should, quite frankly, arrive at. Is like, you are awkward. You can't dance. So you should do an Opalite-like dance for realsicle. Like, Napoleon Dynamite does have swagger. But the entire thing is like, embrace how awkward you are because that's what makes you special. And quite frankly, that's what makes you you. And that's what makes you so likable, is that you're the ultimate awkward girl. You know what I mean? Like, no matter how hard you try, you're going to be awkward. That's relatable. You know what I mean? That's why she's, like, a relatable billionaire. She's not, because she's a billionaire. But, like, that's why she dresses so bad, dude. It's because she needs to be, like, she's trying to make you feel like you could be her friend. You know? It's all that. And then we go into, like, Speak Now. That's her Dear John era. She was, like, fucking, like, not even 20. Before she dated John Mayer. And then she went to Jake Gyllenhaal. She is a very young girl. This entire process is she's under the age of like 23. She's dating men that are like 15 years older than her. Or 10 or 15 years older than her. And she is going through like deep adult love and heartbreak. And it's even more evident in the Red album. Of like this true, genuine heartbreak, and her lyricism about it is truly impeccable. I also think Speak Now as the title track is underrated. I think that is such a fun song, and it also illustrates what I think Taylor Swift actually does best, which is like writing stories that about like not her personal life, like outside, like the Truman Show God of the song, meaning like Speak Now is not actually, like, she didn't actually stop a wedding, but her songwriting is so specific that, like, I think that's kind of her best, like, technique, because I think in Folklore and Evermore, it's all about these, like, these stories that it's not like she's a character in them. And she's just very good at writing in, like, third person. And Speak Now, I think, is, like, evident of that. And it's, like, once again, very light and fluffy and poppy and sweet and, like, fun. Fuck it. It's fun. Speak Now is a pick-me girl album. But sometimes it's fun to be a pick-me girl, and that's what you guys don't understand. Is it embarrassing? Yeah. Is it corny? Yeah. Taken in literal ways, if it's disturbing your peace as an adult, obviously I'm not saying this is an evolved way of living your life. But playing the role of a pick-me girl when you're singing Speak Now in the car at the top of your lungs, it's delightful. It's actually delightful. Try it for a change, okay? And then we get into Red. Okay, I'm listening to Red. The song I almost do is so fucking good. And All Too Well really is her best song. I think it's her best, and I don't even give a about the 10-minute, like, include the 10-minute version. It's so cathartic, and once again, I'm not even gonna act like this one's a white person's song, because I've been in a car where there is like 5 Filipino women around me, and I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and we are screaming every lyric of the 10-minute All Too Well version. It's a cathartic song. It's a cathartic song. And I actually can't even do the top 4 because I'm already taking All Too Well out, and I'm gonna put in Enchanted. I'm actually gonna put in Enchanted, a second song. No, I actually think that's from Speak Now. There's so many fucking albums and songs. Okay, I'm just gonna do it top of my head. I'm gonna give it a little thought. Okay. I have to put August in there. I think her best album is Folklore and / Evermore. You know what I mean? They're duels. It's like saying, like, fucking what else? I don't know. It's a dual album. I put them in the same category as that's her best era album, is the Folklore. Evermore songwriting is her best. Okay? It's her best. I don't give up. A narrative musical, like a Sarah Bareilles route. I think she should do that, because I just think it would literally win her a Tony, quite frankly. I don't see how it could be bad. Wait, okay, so Red. I Almost Do is unbelievable. Once again, I Knew You Were Trouble. That's when we're starting to get into, like, she's cringy territory. We're starting to get into, but this is what once again, something that Taylor Swift does that I feel like some people don't pick up. We Are Never, Ever, Ever Getting Back Together is kind of meant to be an almost annoyingly poppy song, because the whole idea is Jake Gyllenhaal was constantly commenting on the fact that he liked these cool indie artists, and she was like a young pop star, like he's better than that. And then so Never Ever Getting Back Together is kind of her being like, I'm gonna make the poppiest, like, girly, annoying fucking song, and then guess what, it's gonna be the number 1 song in the world for months. And you're going to listen to it all the fucking time. You know what I mean? Like, that was her vibe. And honestly, that's what makes me respect Taylor, is like, I think the fact that, quite frankly, no matter who she's dated, all of them, quite frankly, like, will be haunted by her because she is the most famous person in the world. You know what I mean? Like, all of them. Like, can you imagine being Jake Gyllenhaal and you dated Taylor Swift and you did that to her, and, like, she wrote an album about it and now she's the biggest person in the fucking world? Can you imagine that? Like, I couldn't personally get over that. If one of my exes was Taylor Swift and she wrote an album about me, I would go into hiding for the rest of my life. Like, I just, like, you're haunted. And that's low-key what Pedal's about. It's low-key about, like, warning signs is literally like, girl, you're gonna hear me all over the place because I'm one of the most famous fucking people in the world. Like, even if you try to get away from me, I'm gonna haunt your ass because it's inevitable. And I'm like the number 1 artist in the world. So, which is like a slay that only Taylor Swift can do, a slay that only Ariana Grande can do. Meaning, like, only the hot, like, biggest girls in the game can make a song like that. Or make an album where, like, the whole vibe is, like, it doesn't really matter because I'm literally Taylor Swift. And it actually doesn't even really matter because I'm Ariana Grande. And I'm, like, the famous person in the effing world. I'm gonna give you August. I think that song captures something that is, like, that, for me, shows why, like, Jack Antonoff and Taylor Swift as a combo is actually sometimes, not all the time, like a beautiful peanut butter and jelly mix is August. You know what I mean? It's like, it has that freshness, that, like, fun, light thing, but it's also like this haunting, heartbreaking, once in a lifetime, young, pure emotion and feeling and story that everyone can feel for, of, like, unrequited love and, like, it being your first thing. Like, it's just haunting, but it's once again, it's a cathartic thing. And Taylor Swift has cathartic music, and I just think about her. I think about her being 22, putting out the album Red, and I'm just like, girl, you have no clue how big you're gonna be someday. It actually makes me fucking emotion. Because it's true. It's like, she really was a 22-year-old girl who just got broken up with by Jake Gyllenhaal, having an on and off relationship with Jake Gyllenhaal, who was, like, a big movie star. 16 years older than her, whatever the fuck. And then she was just this young pop girl, and I'm like, girl, it's going to be your show. It's going to be your fucking career. You know, it's you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're the one. I also think, like, quite frankly, she does cast her music videos really well. And Taylor Swift is an extremely awkward person. Okay, so personally, she can't really be my number one or even, like, my top 10, to be honest with you, because of that, like, awkwardness. I just think there's a disconnect. But anyways, going back to the we're never ever getting back together, it's kind of supposed to be annoying. Eldest daughter in Life of a Showgirl, it gets the most hated on. It's kind of supposed to, because in that song, she's finally coming to terms with the fact she's like, I'm not fucking cool. I'm not cool. And I'm like the whitest person, most awkward fucking person in the world. And I'm never gonna be cool. And it is the cringiest fucking song, but because it's so cringy, it's actually illustrating her point. She's like, will you love me even if I put out Eldest Daughter as a serious song? You know what I mean? And it's like, I guess Travis Kelce loves her that much. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the whole point. And We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together is like, she is aware that it's an annoying pop song, but she's writing it to be an annoying pop song as revenge for Jake Gyllenhaal. Let's go through the track list. State of Grace, underrated. I don't get two flying fucks, actually. Because State of Grace, that movement in that song, the tempo, it feels like Drop Dead. And I actually was listening to this out. I was re-listening to it tonight. And I was literally like, this is, you seem pretty sad for a girl so in love. It's not, though, because it's about heartbreak. But, like, State of Grace is such I feel like it's such an Olivia Rodrigo song. I feel like I Almost Do is such an Olivia Rodrigo song. Like, it is almost impossible for me to not listen to this album and think about Olivia Rodrigo. And honestly, a lot of her songs, I'm just like, wow, like, the diary-like, simple, but clarity in the songwriting, like, not a single line is not insanely prophetic. Every single line is simple and yet prophetic. It is just like, and like it's capturing the teenage girl experience, which I think also people don't give her credit, because something that Bo Burnham said was like, people constantly say to him like, oh, you're a comedian for 13-year-old girls. And he's like, yeah, I am a comedian for 13-year-old girls, and I'm proud of that because they deserve to have quality art. And I think that's so true. Like, half the human race was a 13-year-old girl at some point, and it actually, like, I respect children's media and tween media, even though it's like, maybe it seems lowbrow, it really doesn't need to be, because at that point you're satiate and you're experiencing things and you're really discovering who you are, and anyone that's on a self-discovery deserves to have quality art no matter what the age is. And so, like, having quality art for teenage girls and tween girls and little children is, like, really important, especially in the mainstream. And I think, like, yes, now she's a 30-year-old who calls herself an English teacher, but that's her brand. You know what I mean? It's just her brand that she's going to be a teenage girl, because that, like, is her best. That's what she does best. And I think there's actually, like, that's, like, a powerful thing. You know what I mean? Nonetheless, Stay, 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 I re-listened to that song. When I first heard it, I didn't like it. And listening to it again, it's a rough listen, man. It's a rough listen. Because it has this, like, twinkly melody that is, like, so BuzzFeed 2013, like, copyright free melody, and then the actual lyrics are like, you think it's funny when I get mad. It's not fucking funny when you get mad, by the way. When I'm mad, if you laugh or you try to, like, make light of it, I actually don't love that at all, because I'm not someone who, like, came from, like, growing up situation where like I cried all the time and felt super sad. I grew up from a yelling family. I grew up in an angry family. The way that my uncomfortable emotions sit in me, especially from the way I grew up and everyone else in my family, is anger. Okay? So if I'm angry at you and then you make a joke out of it or you think it's cute, it's like I'm dead fucking serious. Like I'm about to get physical. And like I've never done anything physical ever, but it's just like to not be taken seriously when you're being serious is very cutting, especially as like a young woman. To not be taken seriously, especially in like your intimate relationships, is really it's just like frustrating to a degree that's insane. And that's what that song is talking about. Is like, you think it's cute when I'm mad, kind of make light of everything. And it's meant to be sweet, and it's honestly reminiscent of You Plus Me Equals a Heart Forever. Because it's literally like, it's kind of this childlike, pure, like, la la la, immature emotion that you want. Like, everyone wants to live in a life where it's stay, 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 but the reality of the fucking situation is, it's all too well. And it's I almost do. Like, that's the truth. Is like Stay, Stay, Stay is like a childish song because love makes you feel this childish, like pure dream euphoria. You know what I mean? And it's intoxicating. And then we have Everything Has Changed. That's a fine song. The Lucky One, great song. I actually, once again, think that's an underrated song. For her to write that at such a young age, of being that self-aware, which is something that I actually don't think that she's taken with her, is a level of awareness, hence the billionaire thing, hence the, like, if capitalism was a human being, level of unself-awareness. And but once again, I'm not saying she wasn't self-aware after The Lucky One. I'm just saying, like, she's lost that thing as the more rich and famous that she's gotten, which I think is actually completely normal, to be completely real with you. And I don't expect that of her, quite frankly, to be self-aware, because, like, she is like a fucking the biggest artist alive right now. Like, I don't know, what's that gonna get her? Groundedness? She's not looking for that, bro. You know what I mean? But The Lucky One is just really, I think, like, that's a James Taylor-y one. Once again, like, this album is like a classic fucking album. I'm not even kidding. Red by Taylor Swift is a classic album. And then we end with Begin Again. This album ender, after like the tumultuousness of the album, and the ups of State of Grace and the downs of All Too Well, we get Begin Again. It is hope in a song. It's literally hope in a fucking song. Okay, it's called Begin Again, and it fucking, like, that title is exactly what it fucking feels like. It is just an upper. And a lot of people end albums on a downer. Like, Cigarette Smoke is the downer of all downers, and that's the last fucking song on the album. You're haunted. You are, like, melted by the time that you're done with that album. And that's honestly how a lot of people, they give them a big finish, and it's usually kind of a sadder song at the end. So to end a breakup album on a spark of hope, on a Wednesday in a cafe, I watched it Begin Again, it being, like, the beginning of falling in love with someone, is, like, once again, such a mature thing to do. Her lyricism in this album, I'm like, anyone who says she's not a good lyricist, you can argue that, and she does not, like, every song, I can't stand by every fucking song she's ever put out, but what I can stand by is, did the twin flame bruise make you blue? Let's dissect that for a second. The twin flame meaning, like, we found a soul connection. Bruise. Okay, already within that, our soul connection, did it hurt you and make you sad? That is the poetic nature of this. It's a poem, bitch. It's fucking a poem. Did the twin flame bruise make you blue? That's one line, and it is an entire story in one line. It's like that book that you would read as a kid that was like one-line horror stories. That's what that fucking line is. That could have been in that book. I never saw you coming. That sound. It's like running through a field, bro. It's like running through a fucking field. It has 22. Say All You Want. Once again, here's the other thing about her pop songs that are like maybe don't have the most clever writing or whatever. 22. Everyone knows every word, and guess what? Every fucking girl posts when she turns 22. That song. Like, quite frankly, she owns the age of 22. As corny as it may be, it's fucking, everyone knows every lyric, so she's laughing her way to the fucking bank. You know what I mean? Like, she wasn't trying to not be corny in this album. You know what I mean? Like, being in love is corny. You know what I mean? So, deal with it. I'll just end on my last 4. So, my Letterboxd top 4 Taylor Swift songs are You Belong With Me, August. And then let me really think about this. I'm also thinking about what do I listen to the most? I literally think Getaway Car is my favorite off of Reputation. I think the bridge of that song makes me feel like I'm in the Perks of Wallflower sing. I actually think Reputation, for someone who's extremely awkward to try and have swagger, it's an awkward concept. She's trying to be taken very, very seriously, and she's a very awkward, cute girl. But Reputation stands the test of fucking time. Like, girl, all it takes is for you to be misunderstood at your part-time job, and you're suddenly, like, listening to Reputation being like, yeah, man, I feel exactly like that. You know what I mean? Like, I totally... And you know what? Here's what was said to me. Sex in the City, you think it's insane until it happens to you, and then you understand Carrie, and you find Carrie to be, like, a spiritual guide, right? Tortured Poets Department, it's like, that's corny, that's BS, it's like, whatever, man, get over it. And then something like that happens to you, and once again, Taylor Swift is your spiritual guide through that process. You know what I mean? It's just like, you can sit there on your tall tower, you can sit there in your golden tower, and you know what? Maybe you will never experience true, genuine love and it not work out. Maybe that's not a life experience you have, and you get to sit in your gold tower and point at us and laugh. But maybe if you're that heartbroken about someone, you loved that deeply on the other end of it, and then you experience a heartbreak of a lifetime. It's just a human fucking experience. And if you don't feel the depths of lows that I can't even fucking say it. Tortured Poets Department hits, then, like, congrats. You had an easier life. I don't even want to say that. But, like, you didn't have a heartbreak that, like, fucking made you suicidal. Congrats. You know what I mean? Like, so it's chill as hell, but I cannot defend a ton of Taylor Swift stuff as she's aged. You know what I mean? But I can defend her early albums. I'm like, for a young girl to be writing the things that she wrote, it's just like, she was who she thought she was gonna be. She was that. So I just don't want to compare her. Like, what she's achieved objectively is insane, and, like, I just think it's so impressive, and I'm, like, proud of her, because I look at her as a young girl, a young woman, and I'm like, wow, like, you are talented, and you are going to get there, girl. You're gonna really go all the way, the highest you can go. And it's just, like, I'm proud of her. And then number 4 Taylor Swift song, I'd probably go You Belong With Me, Getaway Car, August. That's rough. I feel like these are all, like, quite big songs too. Debut album, I'm not gonna put anything from the debut album. Sorry, I already put You Belong With Me from 15, so I'm not fucking doing that. I do love Enchanted so much, though. Speak Now, no. Blank Space, I low-key might put a song from Blank Space. I actually think New Romantics, I used to listen to that song while I washed dishes at my restaurant job in college, and I listened to that song on repeat. And once again, Welcome to New York is like the song Me. It's like, okay, like it's like Stay, Stay, Stay. Like we're talking like not great, very shallow, like it is exactly what it sounds like songs, you know what I mean? Like it's not the most clever songwriting, but it's capturing a moment, it's capturing a feeling, and that's what she wanted to do with her art, like whatever. But the New Romantics has a very clean sound. It's very it's like if Iron Man and the sharpness and shininess of that movie was a song. You know what I mean? It's just like clean and like it's just like that's what and once again it like revs me up. It just revs me up. I honestly picked like not sad songs, but it's a preference, and you know what? Maybe I'll change my mind when I hear other Taylor Swift songs and I'll actually think about it. But that feels like a good top 4, and I also think like an aspect of what I'm doing is I don't really listen to Taylor Swift albums. I have the songs that I like downloaded. So those are kind of the top 4 I just named are kind of the ones I listen to the most. Like You Belong With Me has a nostalgia thing. I'm not necessarily listening to that all the time on my day-to-day life, but like I am listening to Getaway Car when I'm going on hot girl walks, and I am, oh my gosh, dude, fucking Delicate is so fucking good. Delicate is so fucking good. Fuck. Am I gonna put that in the top 4? Maybe. Like, yeah. Like, take any one of them out and put that in there instead. I love that song. I watched 2 documentaries. I watched a documentary about, I think his name was, like, John Perlman. He basically created Backstreet Boys and, NSYNC and then, like, O-Town and, like, he was, like, a boy band machine. And he was a con artist who ran a Ponzi scheme. So, like, the way that he spent all of his money that he got from this Ponzi scheme on, like, creating boy bands and, like, trying to give them a luxurious life right off the gate. And then, apparently, this documentary, it said that it was the longest going Ponzi scheme in history. And it's actually, like, that's so insane. I went to the iHeartRadio Music Festival in high school with my sister. And during that festival, it's, like, every genre you can think of has like one artist that comes out on the stage, and it's actually really great because I saw some artists perform that quite frankly I would have never seen unless it was that specific situation. So like I saw Tim McGraw perform and he blew my fucking socks off. And by the way, he is ripped to a level that is like he's like a shiny like Brad Pitt, Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I know that might sound like opposites, like opposite fit guys. Like there's a spectrum. There's Arnold Schwarzenegger and then there's Brad Pitt. Tim McGraw is right in the middle of them. Okay? He is like shiny. His pecs are shiny. That's how ripped he is. And he's wearing like a jean shirt and a belt and the tightest pants you've ever seen and a cowboy hat. And I'm like, damn, Faith Hill, I get it. You know what I mean? And I would have never seen that unless I saw him with my own 2 eyes. But Backstreet Boys were in that lineup. And, you know, with all of the people coming out, like, a lot of different people came out. And, you know, like, people get louder cheers than others. When an arena full of people, when you hear Backstreet's Back, all right, or when you start to hear the intro of Backstreet's Back, where it's like, down, now, 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 it is, like, I wasn't even alive when they were like at their height, right? Like I was more One Direction time. Hearing that, it could wake anyone up from a coma. There is like an internal human existence level, like rising from the grave. It's internal, that song. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, and they gave a performance that was, guys, I'm not even trying to be crazy right now. They gave a performance that was like one of like the best I've ever seen. Like I don't give a it was the best performance I've ever seen. they are perfectly synchronized. The harmonies, you can hear the harmonies. They know what they're doing. Like, I don't know what else to say besides they are professionals to a level that's actually unbelievable, and they are serving you on a silver platter like gold. On a silver platter, they're serving you gold. If I'm gonna pick a like 90s, early aughts out of those categories, then I'm gonna pick Backstreet's Back every fucking time, because you know what else? AJ was on Dancing with the Stars, and weird, I don't know why, but then while they were on Dancing with the Stars, AJ and Cheryl Burke made a podcast, and they were recorded and like rehash the week, and so you get like insider crap. And I actually thought it was like really it was like a really great podcast because it was so like in the moment. And I like just gained so much respect through watching him with Dancing with the Stars. And that's kind of what that show is it's kind of like, that's why they always have controversial people on, is because it's like, girl, that is a PR package if I've ever seen one. You know what I mean? It's like going on Armchair Expert for celebrities now. It's like, if you want to revamp your image, go on Dancing with the fucking Stars, because it will revamp you, baby. And for me, watching him, I obviously knew who Backstreet Boys were, but didn't know like every one of their names or whatever the fuck. And learning about him and like his journey with sobriety and just learning all these things about him, I was just like, he's just a genuine fucking person. He's literally a genuine fucking person, dude. And I don't give up. AJ forever. And I also watched the Backstreet Boys react to teens react to Backstreet Boys or whatever the hell. And I don't know, it's just like, there's a reason why these men that are in boy bands are the most likable people I've ever seen. And that's what's overwhelming about BTS, is once again, you can like think of BTS as lower art, okay? I feel like that's like what it's seen as maybe by like ignorant people. It's just like, oh, it's for little girls. Little girls deserve good art. Let me tell you something. These men don't even speak the same language that I do. And they are the most charming, charismatic, funny men I've ever seen. Like, they're you can watch them like a Truman Show level, which they literally do, is they do like a Big Brother-esque thing for promotion or like for TV shows in Korea. It's like crazy. But like, you can watch that type of thing. It's that amount of likable. And these men are fucking grounded and likable and real and like dedicated to their art, and they're like popping and locking, and they take it fucking seriously. And for them to take their art seriously and be like, yeah, like I care a lot about Backstreet's Back, all right. It's just like, yeah, man, like, yeah, you know what I mean? Also, I'm talking about Backstreet Boys and Red by Taylor Swift, and I'm not talking about anything current. I listened to Role Models album. Okay, this album was way better than like I was expecting it to be, and I don't mean that as like a cut. I thought that when his fucking last album, Kansas Anymore, I thought there were some good songs in it, and I downloaded the ones that I liked, but like I have to say, with this last album, every single song is really good. Once again, I'm proud of him as a songwriter. He has really gotten to a point where I think he's excellent. And I think it's like when a show, like after the 4th season, it's like, okay, now you know who you are. Now you know the timing of your comedy. Now you know the tone of the show. And it's the best season of the show. You know what I mean? And that doesn't go for every show, but you know what I'm saying. That's how I feel about Role Model. Is I'm like, you are refining your songwriting and you're understanding what you want more and more and more out of your art. And it's getting better as you get older. And I just like, I don't know. I liked every single song. I really did. And even the Dakota Johnson one, I think the writing on that is lacking. But Dakota Johnson's so hot that it's like, how can this not be iconic? Like, she sounds hot saying these like very not so great writing lines. But it works because it's Dakota Johnson and it's bad. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how Madam Web works. That movie works because it's really bad, and Dakota Johnson is in it. Like, it's, you know what I mean? It just works. Particularly, say, Stain. When I heard the Hawaiian-esque music to that song, I also think it's like a very perfect metaphor for what it feels like to be in a, like, for someone to come back who broke your heart and you truly loved, like your first love, for them to come back in your life after you've like gone through a long heartbreak and like have gotten your life together, for him to use it as a metaphor for being a stain that you can't get out is really good. I just think that was like so tasteful, and I think the Hawaiian vibe to it is like unexpected and clever and fun. And once again, it's like if Charisma was a song. That he makes very charismatic music, and he is extremely charismatic. They're so fucking rootable. They're so rootable. And Stain is a rootable song. You know what I mean? I listen to that song on repeat. And I also think he has evolved songwriting. Like, regardless of the Dakota Johnson song, I think, like, I'm Deeply Still in Love with You is, like, an evolved person navigating heartbreak and like not taking it out on the other person. He's like extremely self-deprecating, but like aware of his flaws, and I like really appreciate that in someone's writing. And Olivia Rodrigo has that in the song Making the Bed, and even in the song Favorite Crime. Her admitting from such a young age her flaws, or her like adding to the issues in her life, like her part, acknowledging her part, is something that like so many artists don't do. A lot of it's like, you're the bad guy, I can't believe this has happened to me, I'm in love with you. I find in a lot of people there's not a lot of reflectiveness or like wishing other people the best in songs. So to see these young artists write like very like healthy type of music while still feeling their emotions and like not having like toxic relationships with these people is, I just think, really great. Like, I'm glad that role model is the young heartthrob for like young girls right now. I think he's like a great person to listen to for little people. Like, I think he's great art. And I'm fucking 23 and I'm listening to his music. Like, I'm not saying his main audience is children, but I am saying like he is for little girls, like their Harry Styles or whatever. And I think he's like a great version of that. You know what I mean? The kids are going to be all right. It's like Cat's Eye. It's like, if you've seen Cat's Eye perform, which I have, you're like, the kids are going to be all right. You know what I mean? They're getting quality, great art. And, like, they have their own versions of things that, they're not going to have their own version of everything that we had, but they have their own version of great music for children. And, like, they have their own Britney Spears. They have their own Fifth Harmony or Spice Girls, or, like, and they're going to be okay. They're getting quality. Oh, I saw I Want Your Sex. This movie's not gonna age well, and it currently doesn't age. It's like not a politically correct movie at all. And there are moments of this movie that are deeply uncomfortable. I would say like I honestly, once again, and Olivia Wilde didn't even have anything to do with this movie besides be an actress in the movie. And I actually think she does a way better acting job in this movie than she does in her own movie, The Invite. But the ending is lacking for me. Once again, it's such a good story. It's such a good build. And then I just feel like the ending is just like a letdown. And it's such a letdown that it's like giving Don't Worry Darling in terms of like, okay, well, we're talking about sexual relationships, and the ending kind of has a twist where you're like, well, now that makes the sex you were having like not consensual sex, and the movie's trying to play it off like it's light and fun and almost comedic, and like, but now because of the twist at the end, the sex isn't consensual. So I just don't understand why this continues to be a narrative in film. It's like, this was a great setup. I actually thought it was really funny. I thought they were great. I thought it was a great cast, especially, that's why I saw the movie. The styling of like the neon poppy colors, like the pop art, because it's about a contemporary artist. I thought like the whole vibe of the movie was getting somewhere and going somewhere. And then the ending, I'm just like, what a letdown. Rarely am I looking at a movie and I'm like, it's the actor's fault that this movie is bad. It's really usually not. I think like Margaret Cho and Johnny Knoxville were like really fun people to put in this movie too. Like, I thought the whole cast was great. Oh, I saw Rocky Horror Picture Show with my sisters. It was not what I was expecting. So I don't really know what I was expecting. I guess I was expecting it to be a sing-along. But what Rocky Horror Picture Show is, now that I've been a part of it, is people yelling at the screen. And now I understand it. I think, and like, I want to be clear, I loved it. I actually really loved it. I would do it again. Now I understand it. Now I feel like going into the next one, I would join in. But I wasn't a part of the yelling and a part of like knowing what to say. And so I was like excited to be like, damn it, Janet, I love you. And in reality, they're saying like, you asshole, you slut. And you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't aware of it yet. So it was just different than I thought it would be. It's not a sing-along. But I really loved it. I just loved how much counterculture, and I really want to know how it begun. Like, I have a general understanding of how this like cult following and like this tradition happened. I have a general understanding because I watched this like documentary that was talking about like queer culture. But I want to have like a deep dive of like literally how did it get to this point, because it's unlike anything I've ever seen and been a part of in my life. But I really recommend it to anyone. First of all, Rocky Horror Picture Show is a great fucking movie. And Tim Curry. Not be overemphasized enough, Tim Curry's fucking performance in this. It is the most shocking, like, confident, like, performance I've ever seen in my life. It's literally Marlon Brando in like Apocalypse Now. It's literally that. It's like an impossible presence to have in a movie, that powerful, and he pulls it off with flying colors. And it's not even he pulls it off, he does more than that. It's like he is an essence, and that's like almost impossible to do as a character. But he changes your life when you see him on screen. Like, it's a life-changing performance for anyone watching. And it's kind of like, it's literally almost like Lady Gaga in American Horror Story. It's like there's a reason she won an Emmy for that role. It's because her presence on screen is Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now. It's Tim Curry in Rocky Horror. It's like a level of, confidence is the wrong word, but it's just aura. Like, literally it's aura, dude. That's what those roles are. It's like an unbeatable level of aura. Oh, and then I also watched Apex. So I'm not talking about anything relevant, but I am going to talk about Apex. So I love Taron Egerton and I love Charlize Theron, and they did this movie together, and I heard it actually wasn't good. But then I watched the famous scene from it, which is like Taron Egerton is a cannibal in this movie, and she doesn't know that until he starts playing a song, and he says by the end of this song, like, this is your head start, and by the end of the song, I'm going to hunt you. And so she has till the end of the song to run away from him. I saw that scene, and I thought that scene was, like, unfucking believable. And I'm like, even if this is the best scene in the whole movie, it's such a good scene that it's worth watching the movie. You know what I mean? Like, that is a scene of all scenes. Taron Egerton's performance, and I don't want to take away from Charlize Theron's performance, because quite frankly, she plays the straight man against a true, like, she is the Jodie Foster to Hannibal Lecter. And it's like, that is a very difficult role, because you have to play the straight man, you have to play scared, you have to play, like, the reaction to the action. And it is not an easy thing to pull off, and she did excellently. Taron Egerton plays like a true villain, like he's a cannibal in this film and like hunts her for sport, and he gives a bizarre performance, and I always love strange choices. I think strange is the best thing that you could be, or because it's interesting. And strange doesn't necessarily have meaning. Not all the time. But I think it's just always better. And he gives a bizarre performance. And I love it. It's so fucking good. And he's almost like Elizabeth Olsen. Like, you can see it in his eyes. You can see it in his fucking eyes, dude. I'm not even kidding. But yeah, I love Taron Egerton so much. He's also endlessly charming in the fucking Kingsman movies. And here's the thing that makes me mad about the James Bond conversation. It's like, why would you even mention him in the James Bond conversation? Because he has his own version of Bond. He was in Kingsman. So why the hell would we think about putting him in James Bond? It's like, he already was an alternative version of James Bond. Why would he be James Bond? James Bond, like, whenever I hear people give out names, it's like, you don't understand James Bond. You don't get James Bond. Like, you guys see Daniel Craig and you're like, oh, I know, like, any old, hot, sexy, masculine English guy could play James Bond. No, he can't. Okay? I am of the day of, like, my sister's fucking biggest crush her whole life has been Sean Connery. And she would play... I grew up watching Sean Connery James Bond movies. There is, once again, like, there's a classiness and a suaveness and a smoothness that James Bond requires. And once again, it's not even really a human character. It's just it's an aura. It's an essence. You know what I mean? A spy who doesn't leave a drop of blood in the crime scene. You know what I mean? It is just sleek. And that is not every single actor. In fact, that's like almost no actor is like giving you a sleek performance. And so, like, all these people, I'm not gonna name specifics, okay? But it doesn't even mean that they're bad. It just means they're not right for the role. And I'm like, this is why you're not a fucking casting director, bitch. It's because you think that, like, any fucking guy could play fucking James Bond. And I'm like, actually, like, 2 people could play James Bond. And that's the fucking truth. And also, like, it can't be an actor who is, like, in a Marvel movie. You know what I mean? Like, that is their version of James Bond. It needs to be an actor who hasn't done anything like that, but has been, like, solid in the drama world. And then they get the franchise. But it can't be someone who's already been in a fucking franchise. James Bond is a franchise. You know what I mean? And the whole, like, I don't know. Oh, I also watched Widow's Bay when I was at my sister's house. Love that show. And Chris Fleming in that show is so fucking great. I love Chris Fleming so fucking much, dude. I fucking love him so fucking much, dude. Chris Fleming in that show has, like, 2 scenes. And he is so funny in those scenes. Ugh. To put Chris Fleming in your show is, I'm just like, you have taste. Widow's Bay is so fucking tasteful. It has an incredible cast. Incredible cast. And we're starting off strong with fucking Matthew Rhys. Or Rise, I don't know. But he's married to Kerry Russell. The first time I ever saw him was in the Mr. Rogers movie where Tom Hanks plays Mr. Rogers. And he plays like a kind of down on his luck journalist who's kind of trying to find like bad side to Mr. Rogers, and he kind of like really is enlightened by Mr. Rogers and like comes out of it a more positive person, and like he kind of discovers there really is no bad side to this guy, and it just like kind of takes out his like pessimism. And it was such a beautiful, soft, patient film, and I actually thought they treated the source material and like who Mr. Rogers is with like such a sanctity and reverence, because it really is a reverent show. I just really was blown away by Matthew's, I'm on a first name basis because I don't know how to say his last name, his performance in that film. That is like a drama, you know what I mean? There's like comedic moments, but it's a drama. So to see him in a comedic role, he's so funny in all of his like interview and press, and especially when he's around Kerry Russell, he's so funny. So to see him in a comedic role where he's playing the straight man who like secretly does everything wrong, like Widow's Bay is basically like Pixie Hollow. Like Tinkerbell comes in there and like tries to save the day, but in trying to save the day she actually ruins everything, and she's like a flawed hero. That's basically what Matthew's character is like he's trying really hard to like make everything normal, and by doing so he actually makes everything way worse. I think it's like a good reminder of like, dude, you can't control everything, like just let things be and it will work out. But he's really great in the show, and like he was I think he was a producer on the show, and I just like I love the tone of it. I love the director of this show. The director, I think, directed like multiple shows that I really love. And once again, it's a hard tone to me. It's like a horror comedy. That's an extremely tough genre, like two genres to meld. And it's just a toughie, and they really knock it out of the park. It is a terrific, tasteful, one-of-a-kind, well-written, clever, smart, anticipatory, can't wait for the second season, funny, deeply funny, laugh-out-loud moments, but, like, everything is, like, very detailed and well-thought-through show. I think that's all I low-key want to talk about, to be completely honest with you. I can't believe I talked mostly about Taylor Swift. That's so crazy. But, like, that's just the reality of the fucking situation, dude. Is, like, sometimes you gotta, sometimes you got to revisit Taylor Swift's discography and her early stuff. Like, sometimes life calls for those moments, and then you're reminded at why she is where she's at in life. Is you're like, wow, like, she really set the groundwork. And, like, I just don't do that all the time. So when I do it, and any chance I get to say do, I love to take. When I do it, it's, like, truly a cathartic, nostalgic, but also, like, clarifying experience and, like, a reflective experience. You know what I mean? It's almost like, it's like New Year's. It's like, it happens so rarely that it's actually special. Oh, I know what else I want to talk about. I wanted to talk about frenemies. So I also revisited Frenemies this week. I want there to be like an HBO reimagination of the show Frenemies with Trisha Paytas and the HRH guy. I remember watching this live week by week. This is what makes the show so special. Is it's undeniable that Trisha and Ethan, that's his name, Trisha and Ethan have undeniable chemistry. Their bounce back and forth is literally one of a kind. Because Trisha is one of a kind. And Ethan kind of plays like the utter straight man that, like, he's also kind of a pessimist. He's kind of like a rage baiter. But he does play off of Trisha extremely well, and quite frankly, Ethan does make Trisha laugh very hard. Like, they have a chemistry that's undeniable, and honestly, they're never going to experience anything like each other again, and it kind of just shows how special a relationship is, and then to watch it fall apart. And watching those arguments is literally how I watch, like, Succession. You know what I mean? Watching an argument for me is so comforting. It's like why people watch Real Housewives to go to sleep. It's like listening to people argue and have it is just like so comforting to me. And their arguments, I just watch the arguments. I just watch like a 3-part clip that's like 44 minutes of the frenemies arguments. And that collage of arguments, it's like watching a sport. It's literally like watching a sport. It's like Trisha hits you with a dig, and Ethan says something that he doesn't even know is going to offend Trisha, and it does. And then she digs even lower, but he doesn't realize, like, what he's doing is, like, he's hitting her where it hurts, and she's trying to basically, like, counteract that by doing low blows. And it just shrivels this relationship up. And it's like this thing that was so special and one of a kind and rare. And this chemistry that is just like unlike anything they'll ever find again in their life is deteriorating and decaying. And they're hurting each other. Like the way that they can they can make each other laugh is the same way in which they're the only ones that can make each other hurt in the way that they hurt each other. Once again, I recommend a Frenemies rewatch. I really do, man. You know what? I didn't watch HRH. Like, I literally, Trisha did bring me to the HRH channel, and like, I only ever watched Frenemies and like clips of Frenemies. But if you would have told me at the beginning of that pod that Trisha Paytas was gonna come out of this like the like, she basically what about bobbed HRH. It's not HRH Collective, it's HR3, I think. H3? I don't know, Ethan. She basically what about bobbed Ethan. Like, she basically came in kind of the loose cannon, and then through like time and different things that have happened, she completely flipped the script. And now Ethan, who was once kind of the straight man pessimist who bounced, who like reacted, is now, it's now completely roles reversed. Now Ethan's kind of the quote unquote crazy one, and I hate to use that word, but you know what I'm trying to say for the sake of the explanation. And Trish is the straight man, and she's like healthy and hopeful and honest and like doing better than she's ever done. Like, wow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this journey is like, truth is stranger than fiction. And I don't think anyone could write Frenemies. You know what I mean? Like, reality is stranger than fiction. And I just really want there to be like a retelling, like the way that they did O.J. Simpson, or the way they did the Menendez brothers case. I want them to like remake Frenemies with like 2 Oscar or Emmy winning or even Golden Globe winning actors. I never talked about getting my hair cut. I guess like literally not a single soul fucking cares, but I got my hair cut. And my hair hasn't been this short since I was 15, my sophomore year of high school. And quite frankly, I want long hair. Like, I did not cut my long hair because I didn't want my long hair. I just wanted to get my hair healthier. And like, quite frankly, when your hair, like, I lived in Hawaii, and like there was no hair cutting places near me, so I basically didn't get my hair cut for like 3, 4, even maybe like, yeah, I think like 4 years. So even though my hair was to my ass, it wasn't healthy hair. The ideal hair is like Madison Beer. It's thick from top to bottom and like full and voluminous. I'm gonna go, and I want to grow out my hair. That's the last thing I want to say. So, bye.